Journalists, the media, some of these Democrats have learned absolutely nothing. At least MSNBC analyst Eddie Glaude surely hasn't, because he just went on one of the more unhinged rants I've seen in weeks on cable television. And again, guys, that is saying something. Take a listen to his stunning and insightful election analysis. Still, all these months later, they're still running with this. Take a listen.
Have to grapple with it. Because it's the snake, it's the beast coiled up in the heart, the bosom of the country, as Frederick Douglass said. And the fact that they are doubling down on this shows you what kind of human beings they actually are.
Say more.
We chose a felon who is more interested in loyalty, who's more interested in retribution, who's more interested in grift than in democracy. And we chose a felon because we didn't want to elect a black woman. So to read that, to actually explicate that, is to say we would rather destroy the republic than for that to have happened. And until we grapple with it, there's no amount of protesting I could do. There's no amount of resistance that could come into play to actually force 78 million people to grapple with what motivated them to put themselves in this position.
Y'all, I feel like we've seen him before. I feel like he's treated us to delusional takes on MSNBC before that we've had to react to. He does look familiar. And guys, I can't believe they're still doing this. Seriously? First off, I roll my eyes every time they say Trump's a felon. Yeah, okay, because one highly partisan district attorney in New York trumped up and in a bizarre stretch of the law that even many progressive legal analysts thought was unjustified, went after Trump on old bookkeeping offenses. I thought there were serious concerns and cases against Trump, particularly some of his efforts in Georgia after the 2020 election that should have been prosecuted and investigated. But the one they all actually got him on with those felonies was a joke. And even many left of center legal analysts thought so. So now when they say, oh, he's a felon, it just does not hit the way they think it hits at all. In fact, it's part of why he was elected. People felt, and honestly, fairly so, that Democrats used lawfare against him. And I'm sorry, but I cannot believe that they are still suggesting that people just voted against Kamala because she's a black woman. Seriously? The thing that's so galling about that is she wouldn't have been there in the first place if she wasn't a black woman. If she was Senator Bill Harris, a white Democrat male from California, she never would have been selected as vice president and then never would have been the nominee. That's not opinion. That's not speculation. Biden literally explicitly said, I'm only going to pick a woman for vice president and strongly considering a woman of color. So it is audacious and frankly diabolical to then say, oh, she was a victim because of her identity when she actually was only there because of her identity. And we all, everyone who's honest, everyone who has eyes, who didn't leave their contacts out this morning can see that. Okay? So spare me on that front. And that is not why people voted against Kamala. She was the furthest thing from a compelling speaker or orator. No one knew what the heck she believed. She had dozens of policy positions where she just refused to take a stance of any kind. She had this really radical left-wing past that kept coming up to haunt her, and she was closely, inextricably tied to an administration under Biden that they had touted. It's a partnership. It's Biden-Harris that had seen crushing inflation and a border crisis ravage the American public. The better question is, how could anyone with all that going on of any race or identity ever think they could win? And sure, I'm sure there were some people who were genuinely racist or sexist against her. America is a big country of millions of people. Not everyone is as open-minded as they should be, but there were also probably a fair number of people who specifically voted for her because she's a woman or because she's black, because that is where we are in this current state of our moment with DEI and with identity politics and all this stuff. And it's not an explanation of the vast majority of voters' decisions. All those women voted against her because they're sexist. All those minorities voted against her because they're racist. Really? They're still going with that. Some in the laptop class, some of these journalist types, among which, you know what, I to some extent count myself. The lack of intellectual curiosity, the lack of any sort of nuance or understanding the world is a messy, complicated place and people have all sorts of motivations and issues they care about. No, it's as simple as just, oh, anyone who voted for Orange Man, bad, sexist, racist. Kamala, good, supportive people, yes, good, lovely humans. Everyone else, bad. Go back to kindergarten, babe. That's where you belong with this level of analysis. But of course, mainstream media outlets like MSNBC continue to uplift and cheerlead these kinds of delusional takes. And then they wonder why their ratings are plummeting.